What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% NUFC. I hope I find you really well. We've got a lot of rattle through on Newcastle Fan Talk episode 4. Now, you would have seen Toon Fan Talk episode 3 today. I do apologise on the delay of the video. That was due to me having work commitments over the weekend and living a busy life, so I hope you enjoy that. If you want to watch that video before you watch this, I will leave a link down below in the description, but if you want to continue to watch this video, that's absolutely fine. There will be a box at the end of it, so you can click on it and go back to that video where we talk all things transfer news, Steve Bruce's press conference and all of that. But we've got a lot to rattle through on this video today. I am joined by Payne Product on YouTube, so go and subscribe to him, go and show the love to him. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to go along and hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, that would be massively appreciated, and put your comments in down below. Now, Peter, we're going to start off with the new third kit, which was released by the club on Thursday. It's a green and black kit, a nice design. I like it. What do you think?
I really like it as well. It's much better than the home kit. I don't know what they did with the home kit for next season, but I think the away kits have started to improve a lot throughout the last couple of years or so. And I've seen a lot of fans as well. They've said they really like it as well, and they really have caught their eye to it as well, and they said they would definitely get it. But would they get it from the club shop, Sports Direct, or would they go somewhere that's not owned by Mike Ashley?
Yes, do not go to Sports Direct or do not go to the club shop and buy your kit. That's just my opinion. You can go where you want, of course. In terms of the kit, I like the design. I like how they've got the sort of the pattern, like sort of quarter of the way down. Now, there's an argument where could they've went a bit more with the design? Should they've done it around the kit? It would have looked a little bit nicer. But I have to say, I like it anyway. Like they've got like the white features,
yes.
a bit like the jumper I'm wearing. I like how it mixes in with the green, like green and black kits. They're not everybody's cup of tea, but they're only everyone's cup of tea if you get them right, and I think they have.
They have as well. Is it going to be white writing on the back as well?
It's white. We used it against Preston North End. I mean, it looks nice on Joe Linton. The fans seem to love it, so I think it's going to be a hit.
And you see the players smiling a lot more on it this time, rather than they look like old miserable buggers when we're doing photo shooting for the home kit.
I mean, if you're looking at that home kit, I mean, who wouldn't want to look miserable in that kit? I mean, it's just a rushed kit. And I think the club had to really deliver, with this away kit, because the home kit, of course, hasn't gone doing too well. And the away kit, they have done well in the past. You look at the burgundy one from last season, which has a 90s feel about it. And then, of course, you have the black and gold one from 2 seasons ago. Like the neckins, obviously very similar as well. So I have to say, they definitely delivered on that.
Definitely, and I think, as I said, the away kits will start to improve. I think year by year.
So we're going to move on to the Mike Ashley statement. Of course, this was released on Friday. He spoke to the local newspaper. What a surprise! I mean, this is the owner who very rarely speaks to anybody. He should really be speaking to the fans, and he's come out and said things such as, Benitez left for, the money he left. It was like the soft option. Let the bank go past. It was sort of a case of Benitez put money first before the club, which I don't really agree with. What's your thoughts on that?
No, saying like it was impossible to keep Rafa. No, it wasn't. All Rafa wanted was just a little bit of money to make sure you could take the club forward. But Mike Ashley does not see that at all. He just cares about what money gets generated into this club, full stop, whether it's people buying merchandise, tickets, and just any stuff that's from Newcastle in general. And that 1 year deal was even a stupid thing as well. What was wrong with another 3 year deal? With just Rafa said, you can have this much amount, and that would have been perfect. But no, he always puts him before the fans.
I have to say, it's a bit of a Mike Ashley PR stunt, because he knows that the season's just around the corner. Season ticket sales haven't gone up as much as they would have done last season. What a surprise, given that you've got rid of your best manager in Rafa Benitez, and he's been shafted out the door. And why should we go back after the summer that we've been fed, through Mike Ashley, get rid of your best players, designing a really bad home kit? Like I say, Benitez was not really the one for money. All he wanted to do was build a squad capable of challenging in that top 7 next season, top 10. And we've gone from Benitez to Bruce, who has got a little bit of Premier League experience, I'll give him that, but he's more championship quality. And why should fans be excited for the new season? Even though he spent £40 million on Joe Linton, don't get us wrong. 40 million is 40 million, but did Mike Ashley really spend 40 million?
Nope.
He didn't, because if you think about it, right, we sold Perez for £30 million, we sold Hoslu for £2.5 million. Now, I don't know how we've sold Hoslu for £2.5 million, he's absolutely dreadful, and that's 32 million. Now, Joe Linton being £40 million, is he worth it? Of course
No.
he isn't. He's worth about 20-25 million maximum. Now, there's sort of £7.5 million carried over, which you'll say, right, okay, there's £7.5 million spent. That's £7.5 million spent, right? Where's the BT money? Where's the Sky money? And where's all the rest of the money that we need for the new season? Because if you look at that squad, that's no disrespect to Joe Linton, but it's still not good enough. And fans are still not convinced in the way the direction of this club's going.
Well, absolutely not. And which format Toon player came out on Twitter and said about that?
Michael
Chopra, yes. Who's been slating Mike Ashley off as well. Good on the lad for doing that. Because he knows the fans are suffering every day now.
I just think at the end of the day, I mean, I've said it in many videos before, fans are going to boycott, and he knows that there's a boycott just around the corner, but for me, you've got to do it properly.
Probably now, every game now for next season, just if you want to boycott, just don't go at all. Next season, 1 or 2 few games is not enough, and it's got to be planned before the season starts. You can't do boycotts during the middle of the season because it's absolutely pointless. Mike Ashley doesn't care about that, and he doesn't care about protests outside the ground as well. And you can tell by the way he was laughing, and particularly that game against Leicester City last season where he just smirked. He says, I don't care. He says, I just do not care at all.
Well, that's Mike Ashley in a nutshell. Now, I have to say, everybody was sort of happy that he spoke to the paper, but there's one key sentence that I took from that paper, who he spoke to. It was basically along the lines of, I'm going to be managing this club forever. Now, I don't think he'll manage this club forever, but it's not gone doing too well with the fans. I mean, are you actually surprised that he's actually went and said that? Because he's been here 12 years, and what have we achieved under Mike Ashley? What, 2 relegations, 1 5th place finish? But before he come in the door, we were constantly, in Europe.
In Europe, aye. But yeah, I'm not technically surprised. Even the takeover talks are just PR stunts now. Just smoke screens now. Like, I think fans are now not going to fall for any of his statements anymore.
So what do you think the future holds then, knowing that if he's going to stay, well, that's what he's saying. Where do we go from here? Because I don't think we're really going to go anywhere.
I don't think we're going to go forward any time, surely, by the sound of it, is it?
One of them, isn't it? It happens. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Now, we're going to move on to the Preston game on Saturday. Now, we lost 2-1. Joe Linton come on in the second half, making his debut. I thought it was a disappointing result. I know it's pre-season, but if that's the way it's going to be for the season, then it's looking very worrying, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I know we started the game off pretty well, but then 2 stupid decisions we gave away cost us. You could question probably some of Benice's changes. Like, there's some players that should be in this football club, like Jack Colback, for example. You can pick him out for a starters. And yeah, and coming out with statements with like, am I going to get one signing or 2 through the door? Things like that. And you're thinking, yeah, are these the excuses coming already from him?
Well, that's what you expect from Bruce, isn't it? I mean, it kind of reminds you of the Steve McLaren era, doesn't it? When they were coming out with excuses and they were basically saying along the lines of, it's going to be a long season. We kind of know that, with the squad, we know that we're going to have to try and find the goals somehow. Yeah. Joe Linton, I think, looked quite tidy in that second half. Yeah, I know he won the penalty as well, and of course it would have been nice for him to put the penalty in, but of course he was designed to. It was for Miggy to take it. But can you take any positives from that game on Saturday? Even though it was dropped?
Maybe a little bit. I know it looks like John Joe Shelby's probably going to be staying at the club now. I think if Rafa would have stayed, I think he would have been one of the players out the door. So maybe Bruce has realised that he's an important player from our squad. And Sean Longstaff as well, Bruce said, is like he's not for sale as well. He wants to keep him. He wants to have him in his plans for next season, which I do. I'm glad he's come out and said something like that.
Matty Longstaff also.
Matty Longstaff really was pretty good in the game as well.
So I have to say we'll move on to the Hibs game, but we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. Next is today's signings, Kyle Scott and Jake Turner from Bolton and Chelsea respectively. Now, of course, I have to stress they are most likely going to be competing in the under 23s, not the first team. What are you thinking about those two?
I don't know much about them, to be honest, but it'll probably be they might play one season, but then they might go out on loan the next season. We've done that with players like Sean Longstaff and Elias Sorensen as well. So it will help them to get a bit more experience, and then there will be then final decision will be if they are now good enough to play first team football.
Kyle Scott, obviously from Chelsea, quite high rated down there. Didn't really get much games down at Chelsea, which of course you can understand. You know, they're going for a bit of a transfer embargo. They've had a lot of players out on loan. They're coming back now. They're going to try and get into Frank Lampard's plans. They say he's something special and he could become something special. It's just a case of trying to build himself up, you know, in the first team. Do you think he could get into the first team in the next sort of couple of seasons?
He could do, yes. If some Chelsea fans have been making a lot of positive about it, and I've looked to see what this lad can do.
And also Jake Turner from Bolton as well. Obviously they're going through a bit of a bad time in the minute in League One, -12 because of that administration problems. Apparently he was very highly rated down there as well, so they were good to see him go. Another keeper who, for me, will try and break into the first team. He's got competition, obviously, Dubravka. You know, what does that say about Freddie Woodman now? What does that say about Rob Elliott? What does it say about Darlow? Does that mean Darlow will be going to the Championship now eventually? Will Rob Elliott be retiring?
Yeah, because they're not getting games by the looks of it any time any show. Carl Darlow has been woeful in that game against Wolves, just to prove that he is Championship quality, the best.
So we're going to move on now to a player who has been linked with Newcastle over the course of the last weekend, and that is PSG left back Nsoki. I do apologise if I've got that name wrong. Left back, which we are desperately in need of, a position in the squad that needs to be strengthened. Competition for Paul Dummett. Now I don't know too much about him, but he's come from a club, PSG. In a minute, he's still in China with PSG as it stands, as we speak, because he's still a PSG player, but they're saying 10 to 12 million. I mean, that sounds like an absolute steal.
Oh, it does actually. A young lad as well, 20-year-old as well. A player I think hopefully will do well. It'll give competition for Dummett as well. I think Lazar needs to be out the door. He's absolutely proven he's not good enough for this football club at all. And another thing, it could be good because we know Dummett has been a bit unlucky with injuries at time as well. So there you go. You've got extra backup in place.
What about Dwight Gale as well? Do you think he'll be on his way to Stoke and West Brom, because he's the one where technically he's lost the number 9 shirt? Of course, he scored 20 plus goals for West Brom last season, and there's been talk of £15 million going around.
And he hasn't been involved in any of the pre-season game as well, so that looks like his future at this football club looks like it's going to be over by the looks of it.
I would be a little bit gutted to see him go, I'm not going to lie, because just for the reason being that
we haven't got any extra strikers in at the minute.
Well, you look at where we are as a club, like we're sort of, you know, bottom end of the Premier League to Championship level. That's no disrespect. That's the current ownership. That's the squad that we've got. And Dwight Gale would get you, you know, 20 plus goals in the Championship. He guarantees you that. So there's going to be a lot of Championship clubs that'll snap him up straight away. And I just think if we were to go down next season, hoping that we don't, Dwight Gale would be that sort of guy.
He would, but is it due to his wages that he's on that some of the Championship clubs are struggling to get him? I think for what I've heard. So. But
yeah, so lastly we're going to talk about the Hibs friendly tomorrow. Quarter kick-off up in Edinburgh. We'll come off the back of a 2-1 defeat at Preston. Do you think Steve Bruce should play Joe Linton for 90 minutes? Do you think he should change it up a little bit?
I'll give him a start to see how he can do, like from the beginning and as well. So it's a game you think, I know it's pre-season, but it's got to see how good we are going to be for next season, because we're playing against a team that's it's in one of the worst leagues of all time, like the Scottish leagues. They're just absolutely not great at all. But if we do get something out of that, hopefully it'll give us that extra confidence boost for the friendly game against St Etienne and going into next season for the first game against Arsenal. Like, no disrespect to Hibs, but we should be going there and getting a result. I mean, in the Scottish League and the squad that we've got compared to what they've got, Steve Bruce hopefully should have learned something from the Preston game, because there's always something to learn after every game, whether you win, lose or draw. Oh yeah, absolutely. So we did last Scottish friendly. We did win at Hearts, so 2 years ago nearly. So hopefully we can get a win against the other Scottish rivals. So well, just hopefully, fingers crossed, something will be positive. Yes, so you will have some reaction from yourself after the Hibs game tomorrow night when you see this video. And this video should be dropped tomorrow morning around about 9 o'clock to midday, so stay tuned for it. Thank you very much, Peter, for coming on this afternoon, talking all things Newcastle United. If you are new to the channel and you enjoyed it, please don't forget to go along and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to follow me on social media at 100% NUFC on Twitter and Instagram. Also follow Peter as well, PD Product on YouTube. I'll leave a link down below in the description. And as I said before, put your comments in down below. Okay, don't forget to do the following. Okay, how are the lads?